Hey, Code Nation. Welcome back to Unit 4, Session 2 of the Fellowship class. We are working on the playlist project. And so today we're going to be talking about a new way to work with arrays, which is iteration. It's a really important concept in your programming career, and it's going to serve you well. So right now you'll see that I have an array of photos, and I have URLs that go to different TV shows. And on line 9, I have code that is appending those photos to my page inside of an image tag. And so what I'm going to do is copy and paste this and then change the array index. And these are just different TV shows that are popular right now. Love The Office. And there you have it. Those are all TV shows. And it took me about 4 lines of code to get all these TV shows out here. I don't even think I got them all. I think I need one more. And you'll notice this isn't very efficient. And coding is all about being efficient and finding the best way to do something. And so we're going to talk about for of loops and iteration in order to make this a little faster. All right, so here's our objective. We're going to create for of loops in JavaScript to iterate over an array. Iterate is a really fun word. I recommend you practice saying it, whether you're alone or with your friends watching this video. It was really annoying to do all that copying and pasting, right? So we are going to use for of loops in JavaScript to cut down on the amount of work that we're doing. And so iterating is another way of saying repeating. So we're going to repeat over the array and do the same thing over and over again. And so here's what a for of loop looks like in JavaScript. You see we have the word for. We have let picture, and then we have of, and then photo URLs. And then we have the same jQuery here that we were copying and pasting over and over again. And so what might look familiar to you is let picture. We're declaring a variable and calling it picture, and then we're using it here. What might look new to you is the word for and the word of. Those are special keywords in JavaScript, just like if or else or let, that are going to tell JavaScript to do something special. So again, we have our array name here. We have our keyword. And then we have our array element, which we are using picture as a filler word. You can use any word you want to, but I recommend, because other people are going to be reading your code, that you use a word that is going to be meaningful to you or other people. And so the code that we want to execute each time goes inside the curly brackets. We call this a code block. Other examples of a code block are in a click handler. You have curly brackets. In a function, you have curly brackets. This is my curly bracket symbol with my finger. Let's see. So this is like the syntax. So if you have an array called array name, really boring name, don't use it, with 4 array elements with really boring names, we would say for let element, and again, this word in red, element, can be any word you want, of array name. We're going to select div in jQuery and do some action to it. You don't always have to use jQuery with your for of loops, but you know, at Code Nation, we love jQuery. We heckin' love it. So if we're looking at this Instagram page, how might you connect that to what we're learning about? So maybe these photos are all being stored in an array, and we're iterating over that array to make each one show up. I don't know. I don't work at Instagram, but it's okay to start thinking about, like, how are these other people making real web pages? Because our goal is for you to start making real web pages, and part of that is figuring out how web pages get made, especially your favorites. Here we also see like the multiple posts. So here, maybe they're using an array of arrays, which is a cool concept that you might want to learn more about. For the guided practice, your friends can't decide what movie to watch because you've watched all the TV shows. So you're going to use your coding skills to help them out, and I will see you in the guided practice. Okay, I haven't moved, but here we are in the guided practice. I'm logged in to Popcode, and we are going to work on the mild, and then I'll give you a chance to try out the medium before we do it together. So I see we have an array called horror with 3 movies. I like all 3 of them. And then we have a click handler where we're selecting the horror button, or we're selecting the class horror. And we are going to write our for loop inside of the click handler, because when we click on the button or the class, that's when we want to iterate over our array of movies and show our recommendations. So I need the for keyword, and I'm going to say let movie of horror, and then I'm going to add my curly brackets. And now I want to say what I want to do. So I want to add these to this horror recommend div here. So I'm going to select that div, and because it's a class, I know I need to add a period. So I'm saying horror recommend, and I'm spelling everything correctly. And then I'm going to say dot append. That's going to be my action here. We want to append the movie. Now I click on the button, and all the movies are really clumped up together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an opening p tag, and I'm going to concatenate it. So I'm going to say plus, and then I need a closing p tag here. So I say plus my closing p tag, and it looks a little prettier. So I'll give you a chance to try it out. You can change the buttons around if you'd like. I think I'm going to do comedy next, so I'll give you a minute to try it out, and I'll have a break and drink some more coffee. All right, welcome back. I went ahead and did comedy, so I declared a new array here called comedy, and it has 3 movies in it. I just want to highlight Mrs. Doubtfire because it's set in my city of San Francisco. And then I copied and pasted my click handler, and I just selected the comedy class instead of the horror class. And I said for film of comedy, and I just wanted to show you that this word is a filler. You can use any word you want to, so I could change this to movie if I wanted to be consistent, but you can use any word there. We want to append the movie. I also wanted to show you a cool trick. If you haven't seen this before, it's a newer JavaScript feature. Languages change all the time, and so instead of using concatenation, we're going to use interpolation, which means I'm going to use a backtick. I'm going to get rid of my quotes, and then I'm going to put movie in brackets, curly brackets with a $sign at the beginning. And that tells JavaScript that this is a variable. And so these 2 things are going to do exactly the same thing, but this just looks a little cleaner, maybe a little fancier, but it's totally up to you. It's your preference of what you want to do. And so that is the medium. You're welcome to try out another genre or try out using the math.random function, which you learned about with your rock, paper, scissors project. What a throwback to randomly pick one movie out from your array. It's time for projects. Are you pumped? I am. So your project goal is to use for of loops to append all your arrays with your artist information and your song information to the page. And if you finish early, add some style. Try out using some different array methods, which we'll be talking about next time. And I'm looking forward to discussing those array methods with you. Have fun, coders.